Hey guys, in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about Diablo 3. Hadn't played it in about a year. I think it was April or May of 2016, but decided to make a character on the PTR and level up from scratch. No season bonuses or anything like that. And see if the game had changed much, and really it hasn't. I didn't really notice anything too significant. There's a few tiny things, but they added Primal Ancient items to the game, Primal Ancient Legendaries, and I think I farmed like 10, 15 of them, disenchanted a few, but they're, I think they're really disappointing, and they're going to be really disappointing for pretty much any player who's curious about them and then comes back to check out the game. They're basically just ancient items, just another tier up, right? Which ultimately means only the ones that are on the weapons really matter, and they're extremely rare. Also, I've found like 1,000, probably like 1,500 legendaries. They're like a 1% drop. But if you notice on my character here, I'm using a lot of non-ancient items, and basically there's no reason for me to use any of these primal ancient items, and I think that is I think really a design flaw, considering how rare these items are, right? If you notice, I even have a non-ancient BK sword. I even tried using two primal ancient weapons, and it really wasn't any better. So, yeah, I'll just go over what I think about these, what they can do about it, and my perspective. So, like I said, a lot of players are going to come back, probably for, if not this patch, the Necromancer DLC patch thing, and I think these primal ancient items are going to be very disappointing when people identify them and then realize, oh, this is, I can't use this, basically. That's what's going to happen for most people. They really need to change how they roll, how they function or whatever, but my suggestion, current design is 30% more stats on top of ancient items, right? That is like the least amount you can do. One thing you could change was let some of the values on things that can't be changed, that don't change, go up. So area damage, it caps like 24, just let it go, I don't know, like 20% higher or something, so maybe 28, 29% on the area damage for primal ancient items, which would also mean like crit chance, caps at 10, let it go up to 12%, even CDR, right, maybe let it go up to 10%. That would add a little bit of flavor, but it really wouldn't do too much. It'd be definitely better than more main stats. But one thing dramatic you could do, which would really shake up the game and probably have a lot of people interested, and would definitely bring back an exciting loot hunt, which is non-existent in the game, would be change some of the ancient bonuses on primal ancients. So for example, this is like, what's it roll up to, 250%, let it roll up to like, I don't know, 750% on the procs here. This is a very outdated item, hasn't been messed with in a very long time. Maybe like Pride of Cassius here, let it roll up to 7 seconds as a primal ancient item. And another cool thing they could do is let this work in the cube as well. So if I cubed a primal ancient Pride of Cassius, I would get a 7-second bonus instead of a 6-second. This would add a lot of dynamic to the game as well. That doesn't exist. Another thing would be set bonuses if they want to, I know they can't do everything, but just ideas. Would be if you had 2 pieces of a primal set, for example, maybe let the 2-piece change 4 pieces, the 4-piece would change, and then 6 pieces, the 6-piece would change. So in this case, it would be 4 2-piece, like let the Rin damage maybe go up to 600%. For 4-piece, maybe like 60% on the damage reduction, and then for the final bonus, let it go to 1,000%. What this would do is, let's just say if I was, I'm playing Rowan right now, and maybe I got, I don't know, a full Immortal Kings, right? Or maybe even, what would be a better example? Maybe like 4 pieces of Ray Cores, right? For the Barbarian. If I can, 4 pieces of Ray Cores would change maybe the Furious Charge damage to 400%. I would probably switch to Ray Cores. This would add a lot of dynamic to the game, I think. Maybe even, you know, you can do this something special with the lawn. I don't know off the top of my head, but there's a lot of things you could do, and I think a lot of the fun in the early stages of the game. You know, I have 26 hours played on this game. My gear really is never going to change, other than like going ancient version or primal ancient version. But I'm not going to break out of my set. I think a lot of fun in the game is realizing when it is better for you to switch to some other kind of setup, right? So, I don't know. Maybe add 2 pieces of primal ancient ray cores or something that did something, right? Just moving gear around, thinking about your options, doesn't really exist past, you know, the first 10-15 hours of playing Diablo 3. And I think that changing would definitely shake up the game a lot. Because Primal Ancients are extremely rare, and getting a full 6 set is quite difficult, and, you know, RNG and just a lot of playtime. Some smart cubing with your crafting mats and stuff like that, you could probably, you know, get a full Primal Ancient set in a reasonable amount of time, but I think it would bring back an exciting loot hunt to Diablo 3, and I think as far as the leaderboards are concerned, let's kind of take that out of the equation, but I know for myself I would much rather, and I think most people would much rather blame someone who RNG'd out better gear, that they have a better leaderboard ranking or whatever, if people care, than, you know, you do, than Paragon levels, you know, someone who plays it 22 hours a day or whatever. I think the competitive aspect has really kind of warped people's perception of the game on what it needs to be. The game doesn't need to be balanced. It doesn't need to be, you know, competitive. It needs to be enjoyable. And grinding Paragon levels and fishing 1,000 keys through rifts is not an enjoyable part of Diablo 3. The enjoyable part of Diablo 3 is finding loot and, you know, moving your items around and your skills around accordingly. And I think for the vast majority of players, when they don't feel like they're being rewarded in the game anymore, they quit, right? And I think Primal Ancient Legendaries and set items could potentially fix that. So the main thing I would, if anything, to take from this video would be make Primal Ancients feel rewarding, however they want to do that, and not a disappointment. Bring that loot hunt back to Diablo 3 that, you know, hasn't existed for a very long time. But that's basically my video, and all I have to say, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.